thought that if I ate 3 bags of sweets really quickly, like Peter Sagan, it would give me the energy that I needed.
Here we go.
Let's take advantage of this.
I'm Mitch and this is Life in the Peloton's Race Radio. Over to you.
Hello everyone, welcome to Life in the Peloton's Race Radio, brought to you by MAP. I'm Harry and this is Stu. Say hi, Stu.
Hello. How are you doing? People in the world, you can't speak to me, but I'm asking you anyway because it does matter to me. Harry, we've had an amazing year. I can't believe this is the end of the season either. I was going to say it's a bit early, but that's the way the cycling world works, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's been lovely to have you along with us.
There's no Lombardia's done. There's a few races in China happening, but then that's it. Then we have to wait till January to the Tour Down Under, which handily is the sponsor of this week's episode.
It's the light at the end of the bloody tunnel is what it is.
It really is. The Santos Tour Down Under next year, you know, races always say, don't they, Stu? Oh, this year's it's the best route yet. You know, this one's really gonna, you know, be great racing. But genuinely, I think I was looking at the route today for next year's Tour Down Under, and it's brilliant. So stage 2, the men's race, they're going up Corkscrew Road not once but twice.
2 times.
Yeah.
2 bloody times.
So I reckon we get a proper GC shake up there, because obviously that descent off it is pretty crazy as well. Oh yeah, I can't wait to see how that gets played out. Then the penultimate stage, Peloton going 3 times up the famous old Wollonga Hill, the scene of great pilgrimages where you ride out. And
it's brilliant as well, isn't it, Harry? Like at the bottom of the hill, there's like all these pubs and places you can hang out, and then there's fans all the way up by the road. There's pop-ups and all sorts, and I don't remember if we were just lucky or not, but you can see the riders at the top. And then
the final stage, I think that's the most interesting to me actually, because it was always kind of a more sprint-friendly stage, should we say, which to me is always a bit of like a whimper of a finish to a stage race. You know, GC's finished, like it's going to be a sprint, but this time they've got a really punchy circuit around Stirling. They're doing 8 laps of a 21 kilometre loop, and I could go down to the wire, and it could be really attritional mano stuff. So yeah, I just can't wait. And the women's race as well, which just precedes it, 3 stages. They're going twice up Corkscrew at the end as well. So it's going to be fantastic. So 17th and 19th January is the women's race, and 20th to the 25th is the men's race. So I think that's a 9-day holiday all in, if you're listening. Yeah.
Sounds brilliant. It's not just watching it either. There's heaps of stuff you can get stuck in with as well. We said already about watching, but they've got rides in Adelaide, they've got gravel, they've got group rides, they've got car park climbs. So if you take your bike, it won't get left out.
100%.
So that's quite fun.
So, Stu, on with the show. You said you were tired. You said you needed some sweets, Peter Sagan style. Where have you been? Why are you so tired? Tell us.
Forced them into my face. Where have I been? I have been in the Pyrenees, which is, aside from obviously the Tour Down Under, it's one of the greatest places to go and ride a bicycle, for a race called the Trans-Pyrenees, which is part of a stable of ultra races run by Lost Dot, who are probably best known for being the people that run Transcontinental. The Trans-Pyrenees race, you start in the east, you ride across to the west, and you come back to the east, across the Pyrenees in both directions.
Wait, they have to go there and back?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just one way. God.
This year it started and finished in San Sebastian, which is a great little city. The winner was a bit over 5 days, and he rode 2,000 kilometres and there's 40,000 metres of climbing. That's bonkers, isn't it?
Oh my God. And wasn't it a bit off-roady this year as well?
Yeah, this is the first time they've had like an official mandated gravel edition. In the past, what happens is it's a mix of parkour and free route. So there's these bits you have to ride, and then you have to join up these sections that you have to ride by making up your own route. And sometimes it's kind of quicker to take an off-road, like a hike-a-bike section. But in the past, it's never been that you've had to ride gravel. You could ride on the road entirely if you wanted to. But this year they made it so you had to ride these sections of gravel, which were absolutely stunning. We had a day where we went up into the mountains outside Ordesa, and I think we did like 30,000 steps before lunch. It was pretty
Amazing.
bonkers, and you get super high up, amazing views.
Here's my question. You're the race reporter on the race, and we all know that this type of ultra racing is becoming very popular, and no doubt it's spectacular and beautiful and hardcore, and it must be an amazing experience to do. Well, I did one once, and it was never again. I hasten to add. But how do you rate it as a spectacle to follow along? Of course, it's your job to try to make it compelling. So, what do you think? Does it stand up if you invest in following these races?
It's definitely different because, I suppose this is one of the many ones where you can get stuck into dot watching, which is kind of a weird way to watch a race because you have like a little GPS tracker on your bike, and then you go on a website, Follow My Challenge, and you can see your dot on a map, or people who are watching you can see your dot on the map. It would be cool to have it televised somehow. I just think that would be extremely difficult to do and probably quite costly, but
the ultimate slow television, maybe.
Yeah.
Just watching riders grinding out the miles and slowly overtaking.
There was a day where this has never happened. I've done it 3 times now. One of the days where the rider who was in the lead was caught on a gravel climb by the rider behind him, and they swapped places, and then that person went on to win the race. We happened to be there as they crossed over from one another.
Cool.
And they were just riding up this gravel climb together, and the guy catches up, and they just chat for a couple of minutes. I mean, you're supposed to ride independently, and you can't draft and stuff, like, not that you'd be drafting on a climb. But they were just chatting, and it was like, "Oh, hi, how's it going?"
Yeah.
Like, my name's Tim, and he's like, "Oh, hey, Tim." He's like, "What do you do?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm an engineer."
Both absolutely
like,
ending
okay,
themselves
cool.
to beat the other one. Great.
It's very friendly. It's quite nice. It's quite curious. And then, the field is, I think it was about 140 riders this year. It's all sorts of people. There will be people who are sponsored, who will be expected to be quite quick, and then there are people who are not sponsored at all, and it's like a holiday for them. I mean, if you can imagine riding 2,000 kilometers and 40,000 meters of climbing in a week for a holiday, you're made of sterner stuff than I am.
Definitely. Well, I've also been at the races.
You have, haven't you? Tell us.
Quite accidentally. I was at Lombardia this weekend.
Brilliant. The race of the falling leaves.
I booked a romantic weekend trip away to Lake Como with my girlfriend, not realising... I promise, listeners, that this wasn't the case. Not realising that our first morning that we were going to be there was the Saturday morning that Lombardia starts in Como.
You couldn't make it up.
I'm still not sure that she believes me, but it was a genuine happy accident. So it meant we could just wake up and cruise down on Saturday morning and watch the start of Lombardia. I mean, pitch. Honestly, I fell in love with the race, even just seeing the start.
What about it made you gave you the feelings?
Picture the scene, Stu. You have this wonderful old school Italian town that is right on the edge of a glittering lake with clear blue waters. There's beautiful boats everywhere. There's this wonderful autumn sunshine, and the best riders in the world are just kind of cruising along the promenade to sign in. They're all kind of ready for one last hit out, and that's it. And then they're away. And it's Italy, so the fans, they love cycling. They know cycling. There's always a big turnout. I was trying to explain to my girlfriend. I was like, this is only the 3rd biggest race in Italy, I guess, after San Remo and the Giro. And I was like, well, what would the 3rd biggest race in the UK be? And what would the turnout be? It'd be like the Tour of the Reservoir. Anyway, that was my weekend, which was good fun. But we're really here, Stu, actually, to kind of give our bit of our race radio sum up on the season, aren't we?
Yeah, let's do it.
So I've devised a little game for us. So we're gonna test each other. I thought, how can we look back at what's happened in the season? And so, Stuart, we're kind of newspaper men.
Sort of, yeah.
So I thought we could write headlines for big events of each month of the season, and the other person has to guess what this headline, which could be slightly cryptic, hopefully, refers to. So I've allotted us each month, and we've both written them, but we haven't seen them. So you can play along, listeners, and see if you can guess. So January, I'll start.
Go for it.
Clean up at race 1. Mr. Muscle wipes the floor in early sprints.
That is an incredible headline just to start with. So many images in there. Well, to begin with, I thought Tim earlier, but then that was later in January, wasn't it? So I'm assuming you mean Sam Welsford at the Tour Down Under, because he won Three
Correct.
stages, didn't he?
3 stages. Sam Welsford. We're going to have to start calling him Mr. January because he smashes it at the Santos Tour Down Under, and then he's doesn't quite perform as well the rest of the year, which is a shame because we love him. But yes, that was January. All right, Stu, what was your February? Sock it to me.
Before we move on to February being the month of my birthday, if anyone wants to get me anything, you know what I realised when I was looking at Sam Welsford earlier is he looks like Justin Vernon, which is the real name of Bon Iver. Have you?
And funnily enough, Stuart, you also look like Justin Vernon. So by 6 degrees of separation, there is something going on here.
I would have the sprint power of Sam Welsford.
Yeah, you got the legs though.
There you go. Right, February. He's back, baby, and he's got a nice new jersey for the Cafe 2.
Give me a clue.
There's clues in here. I mean, you would have a coffee at the cafe, wouldn't you? But if it was the Cafe de Colombia, maybe.
Oh, very nice. Egan Bernal winning the national championships.
Indeed. When that happened, I was like, yeah, this is it. It's coming back.
He did still have a good season, I'd say.
He was 8th at the weekend.
Yeah. And that Colombian national champs jersey was probably the first thing that Ineos Grenadiers have done right in a long time, which was kind of a Cafe de Colombia inspired design for his national champs kit. Very good. Indeed. Well, I did not get that. Winner. Thank you for the clue. If anyone got that at home, well done. March, I've got the folly of following fast. Some men just shouldn't be chased downhill. I think this is quite hard.
This is...
No?
Well, I mean, the thing that came to my mind was... Tommy Pidcock sending Tadej into a field at Strade Bianche.
Well, you're on fire, Stu. Good work.
When Tadej came out looking like an extra from 28 years later.
And still went on to win by minutes.
April, this is... Maybe this one will be a little cryptic and maybe you'll need a clue for this one. I've got, down the hatch, put away your schooner sooner. So it's a slightly Australian sort of...
Okay. So I'm going for Amstel Gold. I can't. Was it Pidcock downing his drink at Amstel Gold?
He's done that in the past, I think, but it wasn't Pidcock. It was a friend of yours, actually. You made a film with earlier this year.
Oh, Puck Pizza, yeah.
Indeed, yeah.
There you go, yeah. So she made the podium at Amstel Gold?
She did. She was third. But she was the fastest to put away her... I presume it's the 0% stuff. But what I actually did was, I thought we could extend this month into a slightly bigger game, is I've put together both podiums, and maybe you want to have a guess at what order the two podiums come at.
You mean in terms of
like their ability to put away a beer?
Can you give me the 6 riders?
Yeah, okay. In no particular order, the 6 riders are Matthias Skelmo's obviously one men's edition.
Yeah, I remember his was a pathetic attempt at drinking it.
Quite. Pog was there because he's been on the podium of pretty much everything this year.
Yeah.
Misha Bredevold, Ellen van Dijk, and Remco Evenepoel.
I think Ellen van Dijk would have done quite well.
She was third.
I think Misha Bredevold would have done. I think the female podium could have beaten the men, all 3. No,
they did. Yeah, the women's podium utterly gobbed the men's podium. So it's Puck, Misha, then Ellen van Dijk.
That's great.
Tadej came fourth because he put it away, but after a little while he took a little break halfway through.
Yeah,
and then Matthias Skelmos and Remco Evenepoel didn't even touch it, so they were like a DNS basically.
Wow,
rubbish.
God, that's really boring. Misha Bredevold and Puck Pizza, best mates. That's pretty cool to share the podium with your best mate. All right, quickly on to May.
Yep.
Disaster as poor Latin American international relations open door to UK exit strategy. This is my best one, I think.
This is brilliant. May is the month of the Giro.
Yeah, it can only be one. It can only be one thing, though.
It really, I think it's Richard Carapaz and Isaac Del Toro fanning about and not figuring things out and letting Simon Yates get away with it.
You're correct, and of course, Mr. Yates, Indeterminate Yates, went away.
Yeah, Adam or Simon, you delete as applicable. It was Simon.
June's a hard one because not that many big races happen in June. What have you got for me?
Oh, okay. This is quite fun. How's that for a dashing dress rehearsal? History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes.
So this is about the criterium because it's a dress rehearsal for the Tour.
Well done.
I can't even remember who won the criterium, the Dauphiné.
Well, I mean, I guess the clue is, I mean, when I say history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. In this case, history literally does repeat itself. So all you need to do to remember the podium of the Dauphiné is to remember the podium of the Tour de France.
Really? Was it the same? Tadej, Jonas, and Lipovitz.
That's
well,
it.
yeah, that was the Lipovitz breakout performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then he repeated it.
July. Plastic Paddy conquers France in heartwarming display of swashbuckle that brings the Three Musketeers to mind.
Do we need to explain what a plastic paddy is for people listening?
Yeah, I
not
think
from
so.
the UK. That's I mean, there's quite a few of them actually. So if you're from the UK, if you have a GB passport, you can't stay in Europe for very long, and that's a bit of a shame because obviously all of the racing happens in Europe, or at least it becomes more complicated. You get 90 days as a British citizen to spend in Europe. If you're Irish, they're still part. I say I would love to be Irish. They're still part of the EU, so they have leave to remain. Plastic paddies, of course, are people born in the UK who find out they have an Irish grandparent, and then they apply for a passport for Ireland, and then they can go and live in Girona. So this has got to be Girona's most stylish man, Ben Healy, winning a stage of the Tour de France, and then nearly winning another one.
Yeah. Well, I just thought he brought the Tour to life, so I wanted to focus on him rather than Poggy.
Lovely.
And I like his swashbuckling racing style. So yeah, August, Stu. And God, you've got all the bum months, don't you? I've had all the classics.
I quite enjoyed the hard months, if I'm honest with you. August, future star shakes that thing.
Give me a clue.
What is future in French?
Oh, nice. So the Tour de l'Avenir takes place in August, and the winner of the men's Tour de l'Avenir this year was Paul Seixas. So he was shaking his thing in France. Nice. Very good. Very good. Very nice. Okay, September. World's road race replaced by individual time trial for the second successive year.
Is it anything to do with... I mean, how many years in a row now has Remco been ITT? No? Oh, I need a clue. Go on then.
No, it's more the manner of which a race was raced.
Oh, long breakaway.
Yeah.
There you go.
So Poggy clipping off and just TTing to the win solo at Worlds for the second year in a row. This time in Rwanda. Not made for particularly good spectacle.
No. What was that? Like 98
an
kilometers
amazing ride.
was his
Yeah.
It's crazy. You know what? That's not his longest solo break either. Crazy.
All right, Stu, you've got October, the final one to finish. Has anything even happened in October? Well, of course.
Okay, so October. This is from the fashion segment of the newspaper. So you've opened it up, and there's a little magazine inside. How many jumpers can you wear at once? Go on, give us a guess. It sort of links to your last one because it's not about road racing; it's about time trial. Pass. So this is a Remco ITT. So he won the European individual time trial, which means he has every single jumper you can wear. Basically, he's got national, he's got European, he's got world, he's got Olympic as well. You know, like what else can we? Not that the Olympics is a jumper, but they get to put a little gold bit on sometimes, don't they?
Nice. I'd love to see a jersey that combines them all.
Same.
So back in our second Life in the Peloton race radio episode in February, we were trying to get pumped up for the season when we Stu. So we decided to look ahead and say what are the top 10 things we're most looking forward to. And I thought we could go back and see if the things we were looking forward to were actually good, if they delivered. And whether we were right or not if we made predictions. So this could be a little bit embarrassing.
It could be.
So yeah, we've dug out the episode, and
we've checked our notes.
So yeah, these are some of the things we were looking forward to seeing.
I'll start, which means that I get to start on a high note because one of the things we were looking forward to seeing was Mads Pedersen. We weren't wrong there, were we?
Oh, what a season!
I mean, he was hot from the start. Pyrenees stage win. All round ridiculous riding in the mountains. Second at E3, first at Ghent-Wevelgem, second at Flanders, third at Roubaix. And that's before the Giro, 4 stage wins on the sprinter's jersey.
Yeah.
3 stages in the overall at his home race in Denmark, and a stage in the Sprinters jersey at the Vuelta as well. Good Lord.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh, man.
And the manner of which he goes about his business. You know, we had little Trek photographer Sean Hardy on last episode, so we heard all about what a great man he is as well. So, yeah, hats off. We were excited to see him, and he delivered.
Yeah.
Also, it was the first ever women's Milan-San Remo.
It was, yeah.
And the finale was just that kind of excitement that we get in the men's race, where you get that similar cat and mouse chase where someone attacks over the Poggio or off the bottom, and then there's kind of like, will they get them back and so on. And Elisa Longo Borghini in the Italian national stripes.
Yeah.
Oh, what a winner that would have been. But then I think Lotte Kopecky probably did the domestique turn of the season to drag it back for a sprint, which of course Lorena Wiebes duly won. So yeah, that was a great new thing.
It was, wasn't it? Oh, I'd kind of forgotten about it. That was such a good finale. I suppose everyone's seen it now, but if you haven't, go back and watch it. What else were we looking forward to? We were looking forward to Derek G.C. Did you get that, everyone? He came 4th at Tirreno, 3rd at the Tour de Alps, and then 4th at the Giro, which is like a super strong first half of the season. He hasn't ridden since he won Canadian National in July, which is pretty gutting. It'll be good to see him racing for a new team next year, whoever that happens to be, and whether or not he goes to a debtor's jail after being sued for 30 million, which is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, absolutely bonkers. Sylvan Adams, if you're listening, come on, mate.
Twat. Can we publish that? I'm sure that'll be it. I'm going to leave that in, and if Mitch gets mad, then we'll get sued for 30 million.
What else are we looking forward to? Well, we were both really looking forward to the return of the comeback queens. So Pauline Ferrand-Prévot and Anna van der Breggen, both two of the icons of women's cycling over the last decade, and both were brilliant. But PFP was next level. I mean, to go from winning the Olympic mountain bike race, as in her goal for going back to the mountain bike, tick that off on her home games. Then she won Roubaix and the Tour in the same year. Unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely mad. And then Anna van der Breggen, we were talking about Strade Bianche already. That race was great too. Waft.
Yeah, what a rider.
I mean, it kind of pales in comparison to PFP's results. Wow.
Yeah, but it's still an amazingly successful season by anyone's standards.
Indeed, beautiful.
Especially someone coming back from not racing for 3.5 years.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. I think people had kind of forgotten about her as well. They were like, oh my God, she's so good on the road. And you're like, she was road world champ a decade ago. So
yeah,
she has had it, and she still has it as well. Amazing. What else were we looking for? We were looking forward to the Random Worlds, which were amazing. I mean, the crowd there looked absolutely amazing. I was gutted we didn't actually manage to get out there. And then Mathieu van der Poel going for the mountain bike gold, which kind of failed, but at least he tried. It's quite fun, I think, when roadies get stuck in about that, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. And also, I think in some ways, it was great that he failed. He tailed off at the end, but he was running in kind of 4th, 5th, 6th for quite a lot of the race. But it's great that he can't. It's great for mountain biking that he just can't go straight back in and do one race and then smash them to pieces, because that has happened in the past. So that's good for the standard of mountain biking. And then I gave some of my Harry's hot picks for riders to watch. So should we see how embarrassingly bad I was with these?
Yeah. I've got the list here, Harry. So we're going to have to... Let's check these off as we go. Antonio Morgado, UAE. Tell us about...
Well, I think the real thing is if he's been on your radar or not, Stu.
I wouldn't pick him out in a lineup. Just Kaiser Soze or Antonio Morgado.
Well, actually, it'd be very easy to pick out in the lineup because he has the most fantastic moustache. He got 3rd at Brabantse Pijl, winning the sprint behind Remco and Wout, but then he got no wins apart from the Portuguese TT title.
Oh, prestigious, yeah.
Yeah, one of the UAE guys who actually didn't win lots of races. So let's call that a massive disappointment in the year where they won the most races ever.
Who was next? Romain Grégoire.
You must know Romain Grégoire by now. He's been a great face in the races. He's got 6 wins, won the GC at the Tour of Britain. He's on the up.
UK's great
Did
race,
well.
yeah. Speaking of UK's great race, what about Joe Blackmore?
I'd say almost a backward step from his 2024 season, because he won the Tour de l'Avenir, he won loads of week-long races. He stepped up in quality of races and he became he was there, so he'll come good, I think. But anyway.
Once he's who knows? Once he's not riding for at least the world's most hated team name, Oh, yeah, Olaf. How do you pronounce that? We need
Koi,
Koi.
I think.
Olaf Koi.
Like the carp. I was always thinking there's a great joke to be made about how, because the French for a lead-out man is poisson pilote.
Fish pilot.
Which means fish pilot. So there's a koi carp joke to be said. Anyway, I digress. He got 11 wins, 1 Giro stage win, not bad. I think I said he was the fastest man in the world. Not quite sure I was right on that one. Swiftly moving on.
We might find out.
Anyone else?
We might find out. Not speaking of great names, Axel Zingel at Visma.
Yeah, what happened, Axel? He had the opposite effect. Do you remember when Christophe Laporte joined from a sort of crap French team to Visma, and he was then a world beater?
Amazing, wasn't he?
Yeah, Axel really did not. Yeah, anyway.
He's not had that French glow up yet, but I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Kim Kadzo, EF.
Yeah, another pretty poor prediction from me. She came 6th at Liège Femme in 2024. She didn't repeat the feats. I was probably a bit premature with that one, but she seems like a great person, and I hope she can get back to that form next year.
Yeah, nice. And then you saw her little sister in the airport, Zoe Backstead.
I did. Bumped into Eleanor Backstead in Milan airport on the flight from Bristol, where I live. She's obviously over in Wales. She was flying to Italy to go to the UAE service course before they went to the tour of Chongming, a lovely Chinese trip for her to end the season. Anyway, Zoe, who is sort of the wonder kid of the family, in a very strong family, we should say. Yeah. She had a pretty good year. Not stratospheric, but really good, and she's on the up. She got 3 stage wins at the Baloise Ladies Tour, beating Ellen van Dijk to win overall. She also won the Women's Under-23 Worlds by 2 minutes. She's still only 21,
Great.
I also had the pleasure to interview her this season, and she's great.
Did you ask her how often her dad brings up winning Paris-Roubaix? Can you imagine? Like, I wonder if their family has a thing where they're, for God's sake, not this again. You're out for dinner somewhere.
Well, the thing is, Zoe absolutely loves Roubaix, so yeah.
There's no getting away from it, really, is there?
Yeah. So some pretty, should we say, poor predictions from me. Not my best. I think I will step away from that move.
I mean, predictions are stupid, Harry. You know that.
Well, the thing is, predictions are great because you normally never go back to see how bad they were, but we just did, and I was.
You like to hold your own feet to the fire, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. There were a couple of things we weren't really looking forward to, which was the death of cycling in the UK with Warner Brothers Discovery charging so much money. That was a big story at the start of the season. And for sure, anecdotally, among friends and family, like, people just don't watch cycling now. So we don't have any numbers, but there's no way that viewing hasn't gone down massively in races outside of the Tour de France.
Right off the tail of saying making predictions are stupid and we don't have any numbers.
Yeah.
This is a poll based purely on vibe and sentiment.
And then the other thing that I said I wasn't really looking forward to is the sort of continued growth of gravel racing, which is a bit Scrooge-like of me, but I think at the time I called it the Road Pro and didn't quite make it retirement tour. And I was talking about how I find it hard to engage with something that I can't watch or even see the actual highlights of the racing. So why would I care about who won?
Yeah, fair enough.
And I wanted to. Well, from my perspective, it hasn't really changed. I'm interested in the characters of the cycling and cool stories, but the competitive side of it, I mean, did you watch any live gravel racing?
Yeah, I watched a bit of Unbound. Tracker had coverage as well, I think, but it has to be these big ones, because otherwise, like we were saying right at the start of the episode, with something like the Trans-Pyrenees race, which is not obviously it's not gravel racing, but it included a bit of gravel, but it's kind of alternative cycling. It is harder to follow, and you have to make much more of an effort, and I mean that has its pros and cons, I suppose. It's like there is a very fervent fan base around that, but it's still quite niche, But then having said that, certainly I think more so in gravel racing than in ultra cycling, there are people, athletes making a living from being supported as individuals by brands. So good for them. And
yeah, I just wonder if it's like a bit of a bubble, and like and for sure it's great that you can participate, amateurs can participate alongside and so on and so forth, but until we can actually see these races, I just can't see it really growing beyond the kind of niche kind of thing, like existing only on social media. And then there is also the fact that it's quite actually hard to follow the season because there's so many different riders, so many different, like, there's no rhyme or reason as far as I can tell who wins what races. And then obviously the Worlds is ridiculous. It's just like a basically glorified road race with.
I think that's actually probably the most crazy part of it, is that the world champs for gravel is just road riders that turn up and then they ride a course which isn't really gravel. So it's sort of, I think that you can see those two worlds are struggling to kind of merge or even coexist at the moment.
It's interesting because Cycling News, which is kind of one of, if not the biggest cycling news websites, they cover all of the gravel races. They do race report write-ups, but it's an interesting decision because I've barely heard of any of the riders, but maybe that's the point. They're investing in it because they think that's where it's going. Anyway, rambling.
Race radio occasionally will ramble, and we'll roll on. Yeah, what's next? Well, I mean, I suppose we need to think about next year, don't we? Why don't we have a bit of fun to finish up?
Yeah, I think we should pick our team of the year, each of us, and also listeners at home, and based off this year, looking into next year. So I've kind of assembled, I've sort of put the riders into buckets. So this is a kind of Grand Tour super team, should we call it? We've got a flats domestique to pick, a sprint to pick. We've got 3 wildcard riders to pick because this will shape. These riders will shape how your team set up. You know what you're focusing on. Then we've got a mountains domestique and then 2 GC riders. Okay. So Stu, we'll pick the flats domestique first. I've only got 4 options for you here because really they're the only 4 that are that good. 1, Victor Campenaerts. 2, Nils Pollitt. 3, Eduardo Fini. 4, Sylvain Dillier. So, I mean, all of them, you could say they're more than just a flats domestique, but they're pretty big blokes they're rouleurs,
Big lads, yeah.
So, who would you pick and why?
Oh, this is a difficult one for me because, like, in the order that you gave them to me as well, like, instinctively, I want to say Victor Campenaerts because he has, he's fun on social media. But then I remembered Sylvain Dillier came second at Paris-Roubaix like 6 years ago.
That was a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
But, like, I can remember that and thinking, oh, wow. And so, as a wild card. But results aside, I don't care about results. I care about character. I'm going to go for Victor Campenaerts.
Nice. Stu's going for a non-performance-based team here.
Go with the heart.
So
forget about results.
I'm going to go for Nils Pollitt. I think he's a bit of an arsehole, which is a good thing if you have him on your team. He also can, for the size of him, can climb incredibly well. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going for Nils Pollitt. He's also bloody massive. So I'll get all my little climbers behind him.
He came second at Paris-Roubaix as well.
Let's pick our sprinter. So the choices here, and again, please play along at home: Jasper Philipsen, Tim Merlier, Jonathan Milan, Biniam Girmay, Arnaud Delis, Olav Koy, and Matthew Brennan. Bit of a wild card there at the end. Stu?
If you listen to the other podcasts we make, DNF, you'll know that I'm not a nationalist, so I'm not going to be swayed by Matthew Brennan. I like Jasper Philipsen's sweet little face and sporting ability, but he's your friend, so I'm going to go Arnaud Delis because do you remember I photoshopped his head onto the body of a model one time? Yeah. Not a nude model, I should say. This was a fully clothed model. Just because I've always thought Arnaud Delis's got like some sort of like trendy kind of charm. And if you saw him not in cycling kit, you'd probably be like, yeah, there's a cool guy.
He's also had a roaring end to the season, which has been great to see because he's struggled with form. I really hope he can just take that next level and get a really, really, really big win. I am actually not going to go for Jasper, although I think he had terrible bad luck in the Tour. He looked in amazing shape, and then at the Vuelta he just proved that he was the fastest there. Didn't really get to see him race enough against Tim Merlier or Milan, I would say. So for that reason alone, I'm going to go for Matthew Brennan because this was the birth of. It's got to be one of cycling's next big superstars. This guy's like Cav mixed with Sagan. He's unbelievable. And he just, I love his sprinting style. He's just a little wrecking ball. So yeah, I'm going to pick him because he's going to be great again.
Nice. I know you like British, to blob over the flag occasionally as well, Harry. So there's that.
So now we've got the wild cards. So you've got pick 3 from this lot, right? Quite a long list. So pay attention. So, but if you're thinking about picking these, I think this is important because this is the heart of the team. Okay. So who are you going to pick? So we've got Wout van Aert, Mathieu van der Poel, Ben Healy, Lenny Martinez, Quinn Simmons, Julian Alaphilippe, Ben O'Connor, Mads Pedersen, Tom Pidcock, Giulio Ciccone, Jay Vine, and Paul Sexias. So I apologise, we might have missed off a few great wildcard riders here, but you'd still say that's a pretty good selection. Who are you going for?
This list is too good to be true. If this was a true like fantasy league, you wouldn't be allowed to pick 3. Because I mean, you could just go Wout van Aert, Mathieu van der Poel, and then Tom Pidcock, let's say. But I'm not going to do that.
Why not? You can do that.
No, I know, but I feel like I shouldn't be allowed to. Between Wout van Aert and Mathieu van der Poel, I don't know if this is unbelievable, but my favourite is Wout van Aert, even though he doesn't win as much. I just find him so much more charming. And here I am continuing to choose based on charm and heart rather than any sort of...
You've got to do a few picks that are performance-based.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go for Paul Sexias.
Nice.
Just because I think we're going to... Whether it'll help us all or not, I think we're going to hear that name quite a lot. And
he's been amazing at the end of the season, hasn't he? Yeah. My God, the French are actually getting genuinely excited that they might have a man that could win the Tour. God, there's so much pressure on young shoulders.
Yeah, I know.
So you got Wout van Aert, you got Paul Sexias, and
I like Quinn Simmons' crazy facial hair, but I think we've probably. I feel like this year is as good as we're ever going to see him. So.
Yeah, it's possible. Did you see his ride on Saturday? Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah. Attacked at kilometre 0, managed to hold on for 4th at Lombardy.
Yeah, unbelievable. Mads Pedersen, let's do Mads Pedersen. I've got to be sensible here because he's got a track record.
You can do it all. Yeah. I'm going to go for Mathieu van der Poel.
For obvious reasons.
I thought he was wonderful. To be honest, I was going to pick Wout because I would just love to see them race on the same team together. But then I thought, no, I'd like Ben Healy because you can just throw him up the road, take the pressure off the rest of the team, see what happens, and there's a chance that he can hold on.
See how far he turns his head.
Yeah, exactly. And then so obviously got Lenny Martinez. Well, pretty good, but he's got a great goatee beard at the moment, actually. Yeah. Julian Alaphilippe. We've seen Julian Alaphilippe back at almost his best. It's been wonderful to see. Ben O'Connor, not the greatest year, but he did win a stage of the Tour, so still a success, you'd say. Tom Pidcock, he's been very good. I might go Tom Pidcock. Maybe he's even a GC rider these days, but yeah, he's been great. And he did the Lombardia Gravel Worlds double on the weekend, which I thought was pretty cool. And he finished 6th in both of them.
I think he was the only rider to do that as well, was he not?
Yeah. So, those are my picks.
Probably.
Tom Pidcock, Ben Healy, and Mathieu van der Poel. Wow, such a good
trio.
Such a good lineup. Okay, now we need a Mountains Domestique. So, we've got 4 choices. All of them come from UAE or Visma, of course. Sepp Kuss, Matteo Jorgensen, or Adam Yates and Brandon McNulty. So those are your 4 picks. Who are you picking?
It's hard to choose between Sepp Kuss and Matteo Jorgensen, I would say.
I agree.
I'm going to go Matteo Jorgensen because I like his thin mustache.
Yeah, he's just an amazing rider. I was going to go for Matteo, but I think to be different, I'm going to go for Sepp Kuss. Because even when he has a shit year, he's still probably in the top 10 best climbers in the world. Whenever he needs to be there, he's unbelievable.
He looks bloody brilliant on the bike as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Okay, final things. We got to pick our 2 GC riders. So this is your choice of Pogačar, Vingegaard, Evenepoel, Primož Roglic, Florian Lipovic, Oscar Onley, Scotland's finest, Isaac Del Toro, Simon Yates, Juan Ayuso, Richard Carapaz. I mean, what a list.
I've just said I'm not a nationalist, of course, and we have revealed previously that Oscar Onley's not actually Scottish. He was born in London, but I'm going to pick him anyway, just because I want. He seems like a really nice guy. I spotted him outside the picnic bus, not having a picnic. He was having a few cans with some pals after the tour, and I thought, there's a nice young man. So I'm going to pick him. And for my second pick, do I want to go for something obvious? Like Pogačar's too obvious, surely. You don't want. You can tell that I don't play this game with any brains. So I'm going to pick Isaac Del Toro. Why not?
Oh, great shout! Can you imagine Oscar Onley and Isaac Del Toro as your two-man GC squad?
Amazing.
Fantastic. I'm going for Pog and Vingegaard.
Great. Yeah.
No, I'm joking. I'm going for. I'm going to go for Pog. Have to really, and I think I'd like Remco, but he's just such a big grumpy baby. I'm going to go for Florian Lipovitz. I think he's a very low-key, cool guy. So, he's just your little secret. I mean, third of the Tour.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, your team, Stu, you got Victor Campenaert, Arnaud Delis, Wout van Aert, Mads Pedersen. That's a punchy quartet. Then you got Paul Seixas, Matteo Jorgensen, Oscar Onley, and Isaac Del Toro.
That's brilliant, wasn't it?
Happy with that team?
Great, yeah. I'm well happy.
My team is Nils Pollitt, Matthew Brennan, Mathieu van der Poel, Ben Healy, Tom Pidcock, Sepp Kuss, Tadej Pogacar, and Florian Lipovitz. What a stupid exercise, but it was fun. Yeah. Which of the teams would win the Tour? Well, it's obviously my team because I've got Pog. But I think your team would give us a bloody good go.
Give you a run for your money. What jersey would you make them wear? If you could choose anything. I was thinking maybe Scotland's away kit from 1996, maybe.
the football kit, I like it.
Yeah.
I think I'd go for La Vie Claire. I'll just go for La Vie Claire. Yeah. Why not? Something
wonderful,
something classic.
Yeah.
And that kind of gets me excited for the next year already, but we've got to wait a couple of months. That kind of brings us to the end of Life in the Peloton's Race Radio for this year. Mitch and the crew are back for the race communique next week. And also, if you haven't listened to it yet, it's a cracking, epic, long pod with the Cycling Podcast guys last week on the feed, so do check that out as well.
Said at the start, I'll say it again. Thank you for having us. It's been, what a great year. Hopefully we'll see you in the new year. If you want to keep in touch with us in the meantime, we do make another podcast called Did Not Finish, DNF, which you can find in all podcasty places. We make that with our good friend Killian Kelly, who is the stat man for TNT in the UK. Explosive dynamite stuff that he does, of course. And it's quiet for him now as well because it's the end of the season, so we'll be getting stuck into all kinds of weird shit from the annals of time now, no doubt.
Yeah, exactly. Can't wait. But no, thanks to Mitch for the opportunity this year. We've absolutely loved it. Made our dream come true, going to podcast at the Tour de France. So for that, we will be forever grateful.
Indeed.
And enjoy the off-season, everyone. Maybe you might have to get into cyclocross if you aren't already. I probably won't, but I'll probably give it a go, just to see if this year's changed, and I do like it.
Maybe we should go to one, Harry. Yeah. Maybe you and I can meet up over the winter. We'll get a Eurostar or, get on the ferry.
A Belgian pilgrimage.
Indeed.
Right, cheers everyone.
Lovely.
Until next time.
Over now.
Here we go.
Let's take advantage of this.
I'm Mitch Docker, and this is Life in the Peloton's Race Radio. Over to you.